What's up, guys? Welcome back to Breaking Down the Pros. Today we're going to take a look at Kris Prather in the round of 8 against Belmo at the PBA playoffs, so stay tuned. Hey guys, before we get started, make sure to subscribe and check out the link in the description to go get yourself a new pair of Dexter's shoes. Alright, so we've got Prather versus Belmo in the round of 8. Prather is probably the best bowler in the world right now, with the exception of Belmo, obviously. Best one-hander in the world by far, I believe, right now. So we're going to kind of go through some of his shots through these first couple of games as we watch this here. So we watch him go light on the left lane. And when you watch this whole show, the left lane gives both players a whole lot of trouble. It's almost like most times it plays like it's hooking more and it tricks you. So it forces you to open your angles up a little bit more and play them just a little bit steeper. And in the beginning, Kris tries to play them real close to the same, but for some reason his first few shots keep missing right. So you look here, he's 19 at the arrows and 5.7 down lane, which this is really cool. This Specto that they're using can track a bowling ball going down the lane to the 10th of a board. So it can tell you by the 10th of a board exactly where it's traveled. And you can see it was 19.9 miles per hour. This is off of his hand. This isn't down lane like most bowling centers show you. Most bowling centers show you their speed, then that is at 40 feet or so where the camera is. When it goes past those tracers is where your speed comes into play. And by that point it's slowed down 2 or 3 miles an hour. So this shows you off of your hand. And then you can see the rev rate as well, which Specto, they're admittedly a little bit off. You know, you never know. A lot of times it's a little bit higher than what this actually, or it's a little bit lower than what this actually shows. He's showing him at 440. That's probably pretty close for him. He may be a little bit higher. I'm not sure. Because his hand, I would say his rev rate is probably real close to what mine is, and I'm at like in between 450 and 460 most times. So I would say he's probably similar to what I am, but he's obviously a whole lot better than I am at the bottom of the swing. He's got a really, really good touch. But anyway, so on this left lane, he comes up light. And you'll see a replay here and watch what happens. You can see it just push down lane and really wiggle there and not want to make the corner and kind of stop, so he leaves half the bucket. Frame 2, he gets up on the right lane, and man, he looks really good on the right lane. The right lane is his go-to lane. He's got the berries over here, as Brad and Kyle would say. But you can see he was a little bit further left, 19.7 in the front, and he got it further left down lane, 7.1. So almost 2 boards further left. And his ball speed was a little bit lower, 19.5, with the rev rate being about the same. So moving on to the third frame, he gets back up on the left lane, and I think he just kind of makes an over-adjustment here. And he really tries to make sure this one doesn't come up light, and he finds himself with basically the big 4 minus the 10 pin. So you can see he was another full board left at the arrows, and then a good 3 boards left down lane. So he made some type of a move. I'm not going to believe that he threw it that bad to miss that far left. I think he just made some type of a move and guessed wrong because he brought his ball speed down too. It's at 19 miles an hour, and that's the instinct. That's what most players do, is when they move left, they tend to bring their ball speed down to make sure it's going to hook, because you don't want to throw it through the pattern. So let's see what he does on the right lane again. He gets back up, and he throws it dead perfect. And right again, same thing. You look again, 19.9, and it gets down to about 7.2 down lane. I mean, you really can't do it much better than that. That's exactly what he was trying to do. The shot before was 19.7 to 7.1, so he's 0.2 of a board off in the front and 0.1 of a board down lane. That to me is dead perfect. You can't do it much better than that. And then 19.1, so it was 0.2 mile an hour slower than the last one, but that's okay. I mean, you're looking for room for error. You're looking for that area down lane to where you can throw the ball and miss a few boards left and miss a few boards right down lane and still get it back. So let's see what he does on the left lane. You see the replay on the right lane here. He just dead pures it. Watching this kid throw a ball is it's fun. It's a whole lot of fun. You almost know where it's going to go every single time he throws it. Swings super in line. Yep, so this one again, just dead left. Same spot, let me back that up just a pinch. back to that. So yeah, so we're back here at 21.8 in the front, 9.5 down lane. So that one got even further left than the last one. And then he amped up his RPMs, because as he keeps moving his feet left, now he's amping up his RPM. He wants to make sure it hooks, and his ball speed's a little bit lower again. So he's got to make a move. And I think at the end of the game, he starts to really, really get farther left, gets to like 23 or 24 in the front, and then he starts to get it to about 7. So pay attention to some of his later shots. He's going to get back up on the right lane, and I'm sure he's going to dead flush this again. That right lane, he's throwing perfect shots. I'm not sure what it is. He's not quite comfortable in the left lane, maybe. But again, you can see it's at 7 again. Dang it, I keep going past it. Let's back it up. There you go. See? So now that one was at 20.6. So that was a board left off his hand, but it got to the same spot. So his angle was proper, but it got to 7.6. Anywhere between probably 6 and I'd say 8 is probably pretty good on that lane, down lane. And then he was right at 440 again, right at 19.2. So his speed control is really good. And obviously his angles are really good on that lane. So we got to see if he can figure something out on this left lane. The left lane's a tough lane. And if you go and watch Belmo, which we'll do his here in a couple of days, we'll get his up on here as well. But you watch him, he struggled on the left lane just as bad. And everybody always shows that left lane has always been tough compared to the right lane. In the 7th frame. So I think this is where it actually cuts out and it doesn't show the shot. So we're going to move ahead. Let me see if it cuts out. Yeah, it doesn't show the whole shot, but he leaves a 4-pin there. So he starts to make his move, and he starts to go a little bit further left, which is good. And then he's shutting his angles down just a little too much because he's afraid it's going to hang and it's not going to hook down lane. So now he gets back up on the right lane. See what he got. Let's see what he's got over here. See what happens. He's always looked really good over here. Yeah, it's pretty close. So that one comes in just a little bit light. He hits 20.6 again, gets it to 7.2, so that was almost a half board further right than the last one. No big deal. He amped up his RPM, he's 460. His ball speed was a little higher. That's why you've seen it go a little bit behind the head pin compared to the one before, because his ball speed was almost 0.4 of a mile, almost a half a mile an hour faster than the one before. So you watch the ball, just go a little bit further down lane at that break point. So see if you can make a move on this left lane, see what he's got. Yeah, so he finally gets far enough left. So here you go. See there, that's that number down lane. Look at 7.3. That gets to that same spot as that right lane. So obviously you have to get there from a different spot on this left lane because the topography is a little bit different. A lot of the players are saying it hooks more in the front, and then it's almost like it's tighter down lane. So you got to get further left and almost jam it, shut it down a little bit on that left lane. So he gets to 22.3. So now he's almost 2 full boards further left than he is on the right lane, getting it to about that same spot. So that time he finally got one to fall. That's a really good shot, really good double there. And then he gets up in the 10th frame here on that right lane and just dead pures another one. So for a 9-pin or for a 10-pin. So another really good shot. But if you look, let's go back to that. I want to see that. So now you can look. See, that was 6.5. So that was a board further right at that good ball speed, 19.1. So that one board further right is what caused that 10-pin. So now that 6 wraps around the 10-pin, and we see the 10-pin stand rather than fall like his previous 4 shots over there. So pay attention to those types of things. He was a pinch further left in the front and a pinch further right down lane, causes a wrap 10. So those little angle changes cause a big difference. So now I think it actually just moves us to the next game. I don't think we see all of his shots. I think we start in game 1 or game 2 here. Yeah, so throws another shot, and this time now he's moving left. You can see 21.8 in the front. That's a good board, almost a board and a half further left than the last shot over there, and then another full, almost 2 boards left down lane than the last shot. So if he plays that angle on the left lane, it ain't striking. That's going through the face. There's no way that holds over there. Let's see what he does over here on the left lane. I think he's pretty well got the left lane figured out by now. Yeah, just a little high for a trip 4. So you see, so that one he's steeper in the front, 23.2, and it gets to about that same spot as that last one did down lane on the right lane, and it almost went high, almost 4.9, or could have even been worse, and he tripped a 4-pin. So that's a good break right there. But that's what happens. These guys create their breaks. They throw it so good, you're going to get those breaks. Yep. So that one gets a little bit right. You can see there, 6.1. So he gets a 21.3, basically a little bit right down, a little bit right in the front, and then way right down lane. Good 2.5 boards right down lane. But his ball speed was down to 19 instead of that 19.2, 19.3, and his RPM was 450 instead of 440. So that helped the ball to get back up the hill over there, which is another really good break right there. So he's got his angles right, that's for sure. He's doing the right thing. Yeah, he doesn't like that one off his hand. Doesn't quite get there. You can see how much further right that gets down lane. So that one was right off his hand, almost a board right in the front, and then almost 3 boards right down lane. But leaving a bucket is a whole lot better than leaving a 2-8-10 or a 2-10 of some sort. So that's actually not a bad break of a frame, considering he's up by quite a bit already going into this game, or going into this frame. When he gets back up on the right lane, you can see his target line, what he's trying to do, or at least really getting close to that. And then this one delays, but see, right back to that 7-6 area, and it was dead flush. So this time he goes a little bit left at 22-1, gets back to that 7 board down lane, and he's flush, dead perfect. Back up on the left lane, trouble lane, inside. You see how much further inside that is, so 9.8. So it says that last shot was 23.2 to 8.7, and it struck, so it tries to say that that's his ideal line. I don't believe that. I think his ideal line was right at about 23 or 22.5 to about 7.6. Anywhere from 7.6 to about 8.2 down lane would be ideal for him. And then this one gets almost a 10 board down lane. It's just, it had no chance off his hand. Way further left, 24.5 at the front. Not good. Not a good shot, but that's okay. He's still in command here to get back up on his good lane. See, and that one gets inside a little bit. Or no, I'm sorry, that one gets outside a little bit, 7.1, but that's still good. So he's steeper in the front now going into game 2, near the end of game 2. He's steeper in the front. You can see at 21.8, he's further left where he started at about 19.4 or so on this lane, getting it to about 7.6. So he's steeper in the front, and he's able to get it further right down lane. So you can see how the lanes transition quite a bit, and that's a good thing that he's able to do that. And that's probably why he ends up winning this tournament, is because he's able to create the perfect matchup, the great matchup with, throwing very, very good shots. And lucky for him, this is probably the worst he bowled out of all of his matches was against Belmo. But lucky for him, I shouldn't say lucky for him because he bowled really good, but this match, Belmo just bowled awful. He did not bowl really well at all, and he was not able to get it done. So Prather was able to get through and basically beat Belmo two games to none. And then you can see here on this shot, again, he's at 24.5. And he gets it to 10 down lane and just doesn't want to hold pocket. He just can't quite get it down lane. So maybe he's seeing a little early friction. It's not allowing the ball to get to the right because every single shot seems to be left off his hand unless he forces it to go right, and then it's not good when it gets to the right. When he gets back up on the right lane and dead flush yet again. Almost a carbon copy of his last shot. 21.7 to 6.7, just 0.4 of a board different down lane. Dead perfect. Nothing you can complain about there. I like that a lot. And that gets up in the 10th frame. He needs a double. Get a great shot there. And that's actually surprising. You can see he misses right in the front, and he gets it right down lane. That one gets to 6.5. But he amps up his RPMs. He gets to 470 there, and his ball speed comes down a little bit to 19 miles an hour, and he gets it around that corner. So he did the exact perfect thing on that lane to get that double or that 3-bagger up in the 10th because he can shoot 225 and shut out Belmo with 224. I don't remember what happens. Obviously, Kris wins, or he can shoot 224 and force Belmo to get all 3 in the 10th to shoot 225 to win. And I believe that's what he does, is he throws all 3 in the 10th. See the replay with his reaction. It's pretty good. Throwing pins everywhere. It's pretty sick. Pretty amazing. And he's taking a re-rack. And it's really cool. You see a lot of these guys taking re-racks at these times because he knows that even if he throws all 3, he can't shut out Belmo. So he has to take his time and hope he can make Belmo sit on the bench a little bit longer and maybe kind of freeze him up a little bit make that first shot or even that second shot a whole lot harder, and make them think about it just a little bit. So it's kind of a strategy play there to take those re-racks, especially late in the game like that when you know you're forcing the other opponent to do something big in the 10th. So you really take your time and throw these shots in the 10th. He just dead pures it. Just dead pures it off his hand. That one even got a little bit further right down lane. That's just dead. That's touch. That's perfect touch at the bottom. He's so good at the bottom of the swing with his fingers. So soft. Never hits up on it. Allows the ball to just roll off the spot. You see he stands up on it. He wasn't sure what was going to happen. It's pretty cool. Great reaction. I love it. It's amazing. It's amazing to watch. So we're going to watch him throw this last shot. And strike for 224. Yeah. See, and look at that. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. So that one now all of a sudden is 23.5, and it gets to 8.8 down lane. Like, that's amazing that you're able to do that. And his ball speed was down, and his rev rate was up. You know, so it almost makes you wonder, like, was Specto off a little bit on that shot? Because that was dead flush. It looked faster, it looked in, and it sat there. So maybe a little bit of transition coming into play there for that final shot in the 10th, but we're not quite sure. But either way, this was their 2 games. Belmo doesn't throw all 3 in the 10th. Yeah, I don't even think he struck in the first shot in the 10th. But we're going to break him down next, so we're going to watch his game and see what he could have done differently. Not that I can tell him what he should be doing, because it's a whole lot easier to be an armchair coach and sit back here and say, oh, we should have did this, when you're watching from afar, rather than, you know, being there and actually being the person throwing shots. So anyway, this was Kris Prather, probably the best one-hander on the planet. In my opinion, I think he is the best one-hander on the planet. And probably catching up to Belmo as far as overall skill. A little bit of confidence goes a long way. This kid's going to win a lot. He's done a lot now over this past just 6 months. He's proved himself to be one of the best in the world. So he's definitely not somebody you want to run into in match play coming up. So hope this kind of helps you guys see some of the, you know, the differences in what these guys do out on the lanes and what they can accomplish and what they're actually looking for bowling ball wise. You can see some of the shapes that they create. And even when they throw their bad shots, they still have a chance to strike. And that's what we're always looking for, is a ball reaction to where you throw it bad and it still hits the pocket and has a chance to strike. So if you don't have that, you're kind of in trouble, especially at the elite level. At this level here, you're going to be in big trouble if you can't get your ball to strike when you throw it bad. So until next time, guys, we'll break them down one more time. Take care.